Yeah, so family gatherings. What a great time to experience the what it is to have different minds and still care for someone and love for somebody. Uh, an interesting concept is can you love somebody from a distance? And that's really a little bit more of a it's a time tested concept. I feel like I hear a lot of people say, oh, like I love them so much and I'm glad they're gone, or like people who are in past relationships and they still love that person, like I still love you, uh as a form of some kind of like respect, which I honor. And at that same time, when it comes to being close and proximated with somebody who thinks very differently than you, it's very difficult. uh my wife and I were talking about the concept of agree to disagree, and how that's something where it can break up friendships. You can agree to disagree to a point, right? Until that disagreeable moment where you cross a threshold where I can only agree with you so much. And if you don't agree with me to this point, like we can't be friends anymore. And I, run into this a little bit with my sister, born and raised, both of us, in rural Western Pennsylvania, and have taken very different paths in our lives. And now I'm walking down this path and she's walking down another, and we get some time to be together. And you're thinking to yourself as you're with these people, like I can see where we're so different. And I love you with all my heart. But can I accept what you think? And then apply that to someone who's a total stranger in this country that's so divided with people who think very differently. And I was on Facebook today, and a friend of mine named Tony, that we're very different people as well, and we don't even see each other that much. And he's totally opposite. He's a very liberal person, I'm a more conservative person, and he's just bashing on MAGA people. And I get it, man. I could too. But I voted for Trump, and I see where there's a lot of good things that could come in, and I can see where a lot of these conservative people can seem, his whole point was like they're also super stupid, and he can't understand where they're coming from. And like the way he presents it, it's so funny. And I see where there are very smart people who look at people on one side of the fence and say, you're all dumb. And I identify with these people and we're all smart and we're all liberals. So I guess that means that, we're understanding and you're not. And then I see that all of the struggle from some of these people they go through when it comes to life and friendships and health and wellness. And I can't help but feel blessed as somebody who's very simple in his understanding of the world and his understanding of values, with monogamy, and maybe learned it too late in life, but the gift of giving. And I've, for so long held on to this concept of, be frugal, be smart with money, don't just give things away, and went down the path of kind of holding on, never really being good at gift giving, kind of wishing I always was good at gift giving. My love language was more of service than of actual product or to purchase something. Being someone who's almost like I would almost consider myself anti-capitalist at a younger stage of my life. And to circle back without losing track of that, the idea was, I remember in college when they said, if you're not a Democrat by the time you're 20, you don't have a heart. And if you're not a Republican by the time that you're 50, you don't have a brain. And I know that as a kid being like, well, I always was more Republican, but I listened to that because there were a lot of things I struggled with, especially the concept of being an environmentalist in this world, and like how, conservatives really, my dad would say, you can't just destroy the economy to save the environment. And I'm like, but the thing is, you can't have an economy without an environment, and you can have the environment and live without an economy. Like, economies weren't always there, to some degree. Yeah, more or less. Like, more how we put it on paper and how we identify things, maybe they always have been as a human society. But my point still stands. You can live in an environment as long as it holds life, but you definitely can't live with just economy and no environment. But coming back around to that, being somebody who's had more simple views and seeing more blessings in his life and seeing the struggle of some people that think how stupid everybody is, I guess there's something to take away from the simplicity of some of these old school values that maybe are bred into people and give them a simple life. And in that simple life, they're given the ability to just accept things the way they are. Now, that being said, there's that split between people who are fundamentalist and those who are progressive. And fundamentalists loosely believe that there is a return, we need to return to something. The perfection was once and now is not. And things are not good and slowly are getting worse. Progressivists were more on the mindset of we are on our way to something better. And I'd lean on we are on our way to something better. As good or as bad as things are now, and as tortured as humans are, the pathway forward is the only pathway we have. There is no pathway backward. There is no return to innocence. These people who are like, it's 2008 again, or the end is coming again, sky is falling again, and I see them doing videos just like this. It makes me sick and tired. You constantly hear all this stuff. We're like, no one sees it. Let me give you the big secret. The big secret's not even there. This is the big secret. The big secret is life. You're gonna miss it in this thing in the little box. And those struggles that we try to find a better way to get around. I mean, to quote the name of the bug, you know, the obstacle is the path. The challenge is what will define life. And taking away challenges won't bring about any kind of comfort or ability to sink into more knowledge of taking away that challenge won't bring about peace. Peace comes from the idea of accepting the very thing that you're doing in this moment. It comes from that acceptance, that general understanding that we won't get to be any better than this to some degree. We're always evolving our souls, but this pathway of rubbing against something, of sharpening the axe, that is the way forward. And there's always a sharper axe, and we're seeing that with technology now. We're just gonna keep getting, it's gonna keep getting better and more brutal and more strong, and people are gonna know how to wield it, and other people are gonna have to know how to defend against those who wield it wrongly. So the learning curve, the learning to me is the muscle that people forget to exercise. We love to talk about health as a society, better things to eat, better ways to make our bodies physically strong and our minds physically strong come from our exercise, but also from learning. And that is one thing I think that America does not get right when it comes to our ability to learn and how to teach and what to teach. And information is good, but also I learned from my teachers that everything is a heart-to-heart connection. A true teacher connects to you heart-to-heart, face-to-face, person-to-person. And we have enough people in this world that these connections, these friendly, loving, caring moments that we need to share intimately with other people are going to shape whether or not we're traumatized through our culture, through the last years of our life. You can lose 20 or 30 or 40 years to a life being traumatized. And when you come out on the other side, it's great that you did it. It's great that you got out on the other side. But, you know, why lose those years just for the sake of speed, of progression, of being in a world where industrial farming has become industrial learning? Industrial learning won't work. And taking responsibility is not always easy because we don't always know when it comes up. But I think that when you can say, like I did earlier, about having blessings in my life and the simplicity that has brought those blessings before me, if I can share that with somebody and make their life easier, then I want to do that. And then the adage of you bring a horse to water but cannot make him drink. When it comes to knowledge, do we all need the same water? These are just questions that I just bounce around in my mind all the time. And I've been struggling with the concept of knowing so much that when I talk to other people, I know more than you. And I'm not coming at it with the idea of mentality of being a student. And the mentality of being a student as an adult has a different added weight, which is being able to say, you know enough that you don't have to prove anything to anybody, but you don't know so much that you shouldn't listen to everybody. I'm not saying that you have to go and listen to every single thing that everybody says for as long as they need to speak, but meeting people and hearing what they have to say might be the very healing that they need, that heart-to-heart connection, more so than speaking your truth and making sure your truth is known to them. Because your truth being known to them may not be the healing water they need. But hearing someone else's truth from an open mind may be the very drop of water that gets you through the desert that you are in, even if it's somebody who you would say is not a bearer of honest truth or good water, but there's always nuggets being disseminated. Or even just the idea of caring for a minute and having that feeling of caring shine through. So in the end, caring for people is listening. Listening is caring. You can't help someone that doesn't ask for help. So if you know something and someone asks for help, by all means, you can impart your wisdom. But the most impossible way to impart wisdom is to try to fix somebody else or give them help in a situation when they don't ask for it. And in that, I know that the hardest thing for me is to shut up and listen and say thank you because I got time with my family. Even if we see differently, see eye to eye, I may be able to help someone that asks for it, but more so, I am simply grateful for all the very moments I get to spend with them in this hot, hot summer.